Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits. Max, this is you and me kicking off the Indian Summer project with a recent purchase of mine on a PlayStation Store sale, Adr1ft, which I know nothing about. So, how we're doing
Me
today?
either. Pretty good. Well, pretty good. Happy E3 week. There's a lot
Yes.
to talk about, a lot going on. By the way, for anyone watching, I'm going to let them know that I really don't know when we're starting a new game usually what the hell we're doing. So, us playing this is definitely new to me.
Nice.
But I think that's part of the fun, just
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is what we're doing. So Adrift, what I've heard about this game, this is one that has VR settings, right? Like this is
I
one you can do in VR.
I actually don't think it does, which
Oh,
is the
okay.
reason that I haven't purchased it before now. I really feel like it should, you know?
Hmm. Is it a first person?
It is.
Like,
And it's like
okay.
kind of this technical
If
kind
you go
of
into options,
showpiece.
there's no VR settings, huh?
No,
I really
not
thought
that I'm
Adrift
aware
was
of.
a VR one. Okay, well, maybe not. Alrighty. Well,
But
anyway, Indies in Summer. I'm excited for it. I know
mhm.
we've talked about. I mean, this. Um, what is it? What Remains? Edith Finch. There's Firewatch.
There's all kinds of good
Yeah,
stuff we
there's
could
a lot
do.
of good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a lot going on today. A lot of crappy stuff regarding accounts getting hacked apparently on my end,
Oh,
and
lovely.
billing department woes from two different things. It's just, it's been kind of a headache. So um, I was usually, by this time of day, I would pick up my next shift, which would be tomorrow. I was just talking to Addie, and it's like, yeah, don't pick up tomorrow. It's like,
Oh
okay, I
God.
won't. I think I'm just going to take care of myself, maybe get some things done. But it puts me in a better mood now. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been that kind of day. I'll get into it in a bit, but oh my god, it's been a pretty exciting week. There's the two biggest things. 'Cause I don't even know what's happened at like the Bethesda E3 conference yet. I'll be honest, I haven't
Yeah,
watched
me
it.
neither. I haven't either.
I was really just waiting for that Square and that Nintendo
Me
presentation to
too.
drop,
For me
and
this
I was
year,
not disappointed.
yeah, for me this year it was all about Square and Nintendo.
Yeah.
So as
It,
we get into this real quick, all I really know about this game is that of course it's in space, and I think
yep.
something goes wrong.
Yeah.
This really should
I
be a
think
VR
so.
game. Like, why the hell isn't this VR?
I'm thinking like, how can it not be? There's no way. I'm gonna have to Google this afterwards. But usually with these games on PlayStation VR, you don't have to have a VR like plugged in or anything for the options to show up.
Right.
Like, well, I don't know. You know what? Because Tetris Effect, we have Tetris Effect, and it doesn't make any mention of VR. Now that I think about it, but it's totally made for VR.
Right.
So maybe it is. Yeah, maybe this is one that it's like totally supports it, but just kind of like they don't mention anything because you can play it in
Yeah.
first person easily.
This game would make so much more sense as a VR game.
I think it is. But again, it's one that's like, hey, it totally works outside of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so
this
you can
would
basically change everything about your aspect.
this would be kind of a great when you're in space. It's the kind of games that make you kind of forget where you're at, and it makes your stomach do a thing. This would be one of
Right.
those games.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
which is really good. Again, I know there's some powerful hardware out there, but I think the PlayStation VR is definitely good enough that your brain can get tricked.
Yeah.
And like if you're in an elevator or something and it stops,
Come
you get
on.
sick, you get
Like
messed
right
up
now.
because. Or this if you're spinning around in space. I mean, hell, my brain was able to get tricked at Disney World at like the Mission to Mars ride at Epcot.
Oh, really?
I mean, it is a literal G-force. Like, there's the easy ride and the hard ride. There's two different modes. You go through the same video simulation, but one
Yeah.
actually puts you through like, I don't know, a fourth of a G or something. Something like that, where it's not too much, but
Yeah.
it'll you feel G-force, and
Really? Huh.
when that's happening, you're basically blasting off. You're looking straight up in the sky, and there's like the silo and everything, and
Yeah.
you're blasting into the atmosphere. And my brain couldn't handle it. I was starting to get sick, and I was just like, and we also were doing drinking around the world, and so we just
Oh,
came back
that'll do
from
it.
Mexico. I had tacos and a huge ass
It's
margarita.
always tacos with you.
So I was just like, I think it tricked my caveman brain into being like, this is not what humans do. What are you doing? Fuck you. And I didn't barf, but it definitely kind of freaked me out.
Yeah,
So
that's hilarious.
nice little. So I don't know if do you get like seasick or anything? I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise before or just out on the
Actually, we're just
water.
on a boat this week. Since right now, by the way, play the hits. We're
Yeah.
broadcasting from sunny Lake Erie right now in Northwest Ohio. So I'm on a
Yeah.
family vacation, and yes, we were on a boat this week. Why am I swatting at that?
Yeah. Because it's VR. You got to look at your hands. Ugh.
This should be VR,
Yeah.
but it's not VR. This is so weird. Why is this not
Sorry
VR?
I couldn't join you, by the way. It's Lake Erie was always fun.
Yeah, dude.
As
When we were
kids, so
kids,
it's
that
always
was-
like a really
That's great. We
we
got
some good memories there.
Like, in addition to like the swimming and the fun and the islands and the food, we also got some quality gaming done back in the day.
Yeah, that's true. Doing some all-night FF6, some of it by myself.
Yeah, that's right. I would pass out and wake up, and you'd be like 3/4 of the way through the game.
Oh man! And then I saw you were Cedar Point. Seriously?
Oh
Screw
yeah.
you.
For the first
Oh.
time since I was like 17, we went to Cedar Point today.
I haven't been there since I was like 12. There's so much that's changed. I haven't been to like, we go to Disney a lot, but when it comes to like thrill rides, Disney doesn't
yeah.
have anything crazy.
Dude,
you
Cedar
know?
Point is all about the thrill rides.
Yeah. Do you ride anything nuts? Like, okay,
No,
kids.
I didn't. Because Connor, the only one I had with me really was Connor, and he wasn't big enough for any of them yet.
Now, how is he like 40 inches? No, not even. He's like 30 something, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
think he's
I don't know
maybe
how
around
tall
the
he is.
38 mark.
38. Okay, yeah, not
Which
quite
he's
40
still tall
yet.
for a 4-year-old, actually, but
Okay.
yeah,
Because it's probably what 42 or something for a lot of the rides
yeah,
for him. Yeah.
somewhere around there. Or I don't know, like some of the bigger. We didn't even check some of the
Some of
bigger
the
coasters.
crazy roller coasters, I'm sure, is more, but
Yeah,
yeah,
dude,
that's
this
gonna
really
be
ought to
fun.
be a VR game. What the
I
hell?
swear it has to be.
You should Google that shit.
Okay,
Adrift.
I'm gonna Google it
Adrift
now.
with a
With
one.
a one, right?
Yeah, PS4 VR. I guarantee you're not gonna find anything because I was waiting for this game to come out in VR before I purchased it, but I got tired of waiting and I wanted to do this for the indie series. Another fun thing about this week, to all of our faithful listeners, I am for some reason losing my voice. I'm not in any way sick. I feel fine, other than my usual back pain associated with me being out of shape. But I woke up Saturday with like
Dude.
some sinus trouble, and my voice has just been crappy all week.
Allergies suck, and the whole thing about your allergies changing every few years, it's totally true, because
Yeah.
I'm starting to really realize, like, I know I said it last year, but I'm positive now. I had the seasonal allergies, and they're not like horrible, but it's enough that I just have constant congestion.
Yeah, dude, it sucks.
So do you do like Zantac every day or Claritin every day,
Yeah.
basically?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. And then
I think that's what
fluticasone
I
for my nasal passages.
Okay. Oh, that stuff is great. When I
It
was
really
sick,
is.
it really like give it 10 minutes or so, and it just opens you up.
I do Singular, the generic Zyrtec, and fluticasone. Holy crap!
wait,
This is gonna be
already?
intense, isn't it?
Or is this training or something?
shit.
No,
Whoa.
you're just thrown into it.
Oh boy. Hello. Oh crap, man. Whoa.
Okay.
Dude, I'm not sure
Grab
if I
them
can handle
something.
this in VR.
You know what? Apparently, it is a VR game on other things like Oculus. It's been out on PlayStation, and they say there will not be VR support.
Yeah, what the hell?
Emergency life support system online.
Oh god, we need
Manual
oxygen.
oxygen refill required.
Okay, here we go. So the main mechanic here seems to be managing your oxygen. Okay, so that's cool. What do we have here? So going back to E3 a little bit.
I'm back.
What's that? Hello? Have we lost Max? I'm gonna pause for a second. Alright, and we're back. Lost you there for a minute, but hopefully that doesn't keep happening. Oh god. Yeah. This game's gonna have a few situations like this, isn't it? Okay.
Now what's going? So, I didn't realize they were gonna just throw you right into it.
Right. Now let's see. Here. What do we need to be doing? Okay, you swat that. Okay, that's gonna take me back out into the cold vacuum of space.
Yeah, it's just like, let's avoid that, even though they're gonna force you there at some point soon.
Oh wait, that's also. I'm wondering if it's like basically follow the green, kind of.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see what we've got. Yes, I think we are going the right way. Okay. So, back to what we were talking about a little bit ago. What were some of your thoughts on E3?
Okay, well, I think there's a lot more I gotta see. I didn't even see most of the Microsoft, so there might be some things there that are like kind of exciting. I think the biggest thing that everyone's talking about is Cyberpunk. Yes. And watching the trailer for that, I'm loving it. Like, okay, Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves. Who doesn't?
Who doesn't love Keanu Reeves?
Just seeing, you know, even though we're not really seeing gameplay.
I've got to pause again. I've pissed off my wife. 1 second.
Oh, one more. Okay.
Alrighty, sorry about that. You know, when it rains, it pours, especially with kids.
Yep. I know how it goes, only I don't, but you know.
you kind of know things. You're a nurse. You're responsible for the care of human beings.
I was a kid once.
So yeah, Microsoft, like you said, other than whatchamacallit, Cyberpunk, I didn't see anything that I was really into.
No. But apparently there is gameplay like that's being shown to at least the press. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, just like last year, video's going to come out of that. They're saying it really looks like fully fleshed, like it's an actual game.
It's supposed to be like
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's supposed to be incredibly detailed, which I am pretty excited for. But mostly, I was all about Square Enix and Nintendo. Square Enix had some wonderful surprises for me. There was, of course, the elephant in the room, which is the FF7 remake. We can talk about that.
I'm glad they started with it.
Yeah, just to get it, like, just to address it, like, it exists still.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, but some of, like, the smaller things that they announced that I'm really excited for, they're bringing some romancing saga games back into the spotlight.
What was it, 3 and then the PlayStation 1?
I'm more excited about Romancing Saga 3. That was one that I missed out. Well, I mean, everyone missed out on. I had an emulated. I had an emulated version of it that was like a fan translation, but it was pretty choppy.
Yeah.
So I will be excited to play that legitimately for the first time. Same with Seiken Densetsu 3, which is now being called
was awesome.
Trials of Mana. And not only that, but we're getting it in 2 forms. We're getting the original in the Mana collection, which I am going to be picking up like day 1 for the physical edition on the Switch. I could not be more excited about that. And then there's also going to be like a Secret of Mana style remake.
Collection.
No, remake.
The remake, the first thing they showed, yeah. And that was the first thing they showed, and I was like, okay, this is looking pretty cool, but I didn't understand what it was exactly. I saw that, I recognized the characters, and I was like, is this like a sequel to Seiken Densetsu 3, or is it some kind of like something that came out on the PSP before?
Yeah, and truth be told, I'll probably end up getting both versions, but I'm more excited about the collection. Just to have all 3 of those games on the Switch, holy cow.
It's like a basically like a remake they did for Secret of Mana, you know, just completely new. And so once I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, that's totally crazy. It was the name that threw me off, because it said Trials of Mana. I didn't really catch that when they are releasing the 3 games in the pack, they are calling it Trials of Mana. So it's like, okay, cool. That's a fine name.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it works.
really, I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up. Like if it was $20,
You know,
it's a no-brainer.
if we can do like multiplayer, like
Oh my god.
online for it, that enough is reason enough for me to own the 3D version.
Yeah, and that's the thing about like even the Secret of Mana remake. Like I still want to get that game. I don't know why I haven't. I would totally do multiplayer with you on that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would turn the voices off because they're a bit annoying for
Mm-hmm.
that remake.
From what I've seen too, yeah.
I hope they do better with that, but it actually works perfectly without the voices.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot. The gameplay's fine. They don't try to reinvent the wheel. They just make it look pretty.
Right.
And I also like that the little mini maps that they added to the game are literally like the Super Nintendo maps in the corner. So it's like I think it's a good touch. But
Yeah.
the remake, taking the voices out of it, looks pretty cool. So the Trials of Mana, now knowing what it is, you know, it's like holy shit, that's awesome to do like a 3D remake of it. That's very unexpected. And again, it's like it's not being treated as that big of an announcement, but it's like that's like a fully fledged new game from a game that was awesome, you know. And then again, an official translation that's not a fan translation of Second Tetsu 3,
Yeah.
which I haven't played in over a decade, but I remember the fans translation was fine, you know. It did the job, but I'm excited to have like an actual translation is always better. So
Right. Oh, for sure.
yeah, the $40 price tag for the 3 games is kind of like I don't know if it warrants $40, like $30. I wouldn't balk at it all.
You
I'd be
know,
like, okay,
the
I
fact
think I'm
is,
probably fine.
it's 3 full-fledged SNES era RPGs, and so I'm down for that. Even though I already own Secret of Mana in a few different formats,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that. Was that
Is
a
the
save
first
point?
one a Game Boy game, or
Vital sign stable.
I think it was like Game Boy or something. I never played
Yeah,
the first.
first one was Game Boy, and I think that's actually the version that's coming out. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you if the version that's coming out in the collection is a one of the various remakes of that game. So there's the interesting thing about the first Mana game / Final Fantasy Adventure. There are
It's Adventure, because I don't know if it's Chronicle or Adventure. There was 2 different lines on the Game Boy, at least in the US.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy Adventure was the Mana series, and then Final Fantasy Legend was the Romancing Saga series.
Okay, gotcha.
And so with the Final Fantasy Adventure, that was originally the Game Boy game, which, you know, pretty basic Zelda clone by Squaresoft. And that got remade first into a game called Sword of Mana on the GBA, which really fleshed out the story and completely redid the visual style and gave the characters much more depth and things like that. It also gave you the choice of 2 protagonists. Now, but then it got a second remake on, let me think, it was definitely on
PSP?
iOS, maybe it was also on PSP, but that was very much more a kind of just faithful shot-for-shot remake of the GBA version, featuring even like the same kind of generic Final Fantasy-looking protagonist.
Okay.
So that one really skipped on the story elements, but really just kind of refined it really stuck to the Game Boy version's guns. Like there wasn't drastic like changes or overhauls to the gameplay or anything like the GBA version.
Okay.
So, but actually, having played them both, my preferred version is actually the GBA version, Sword of Mana. I feel like it fits in better with the rest of the series.
Okay.
But I don't think that's the version that we'll be getting in the collection.
Probably not.
Because all of the artwork shows the generic Final Fantasy looking protagonist, so I'm pretty sure that we're not getting that version.
Yeah, I never really, I mean, again, and I never played the GBA version, so I can't attest to it.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
But yeah, that's either way, that's pretty cool. And it's like, I know they have this big library, but it is kind of unexpected because they also have kind of their Chrono Trigger, their Final Fantasy, 7, 10, all this other stuff that's like they could just keep re-releasing that. And I know they basically have So the well is starting to run dry, but I mean, the fact that they're going to keep, okay, you know what? We never released Second Densetsu 3 over here. We can do that, and we'll do a complete remake of it. Or,
Yeah, dude, I was so thrilled
that's more
to
than
see.
a remaster.
Yeah, me too. I was so
even
happy.
if they're not reinventing the wheel with it, it's a completely different art style and voice acting and everything. So that's a remake.
Yeah, I was so pleased to see the Mana series get some love.
That's
the
cool.
C3.
A lot of different things. The what do you call it? Announcement. As soon as the Last Remnant came on, the main character and everything. I've never played that game, and immediately I was like, oh, Last Remnant, what? Like, because I remember having an Xbox 360, and just being like, man, a good RPG hasn't come out in a while. Last Remnant.
Yeah, I hear that's got kind of a cult following in its own right.
Yeah, it does. So it made those people happy, and it even made me happy, even though I have no, vested interest in the game. I'm just like, cool.
Right.
They're making some people happy right now.
It's just good to see Square pay attention to some of its franchises and games that have sat dormant for a while. It's kind of the only thing that could have made me happier with their presentation this E3 is if they announced something Chrono related. But
oh my god, like maybe, new Chrono related would be awesome.
Dude, if there were another Chrono game, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I would shit bricks.
Yeah. Even if it's like complete, which it usually is, like, new characters and stuff, but just going back to that world.
Yeah.
And if the soundtrack is as good as the other two games, yeah, I'd be all about that. So.
Okay. Guess we're not going that way. Oh boy. Oh boy, I have lost control.
That's this whole game, I feel like.
Lost control, yeah.
I've lost control over this situation.
Oh boy. This is not going well. I am a ping pong in the cold, uncaring vacuum of an endless universe. Holy shit, Max. Oh god, and I'm out of oxygen. And I'm out of oxygen.
Oh, that's a mechanic? I wasn't even paying attention.
That's like the mechanic.
Stop dying, you coward.
Oh god, Max. Tell my wife I said hello. There we go. Oh, that's not how you want to go. That's not how you want to go.
No, this is supposed to happen. This is no, I was gonna get rescued by the Russians. Nope. Okay, you died. You.
Oh, good. An arrow's
occurred. God, what?
Pausing
you lost all
again.
bodily functions. Huh.
Your bowels have been voided.
誠に申し訳ございませんでした。
So Max, I'm not going to lie to you. There's a very real possibility that this playthrough is cursed.
This isn't the very beginning.
No, we're back in the same room where I died. But
okay, good.
We did have a little bit of a breakdown there as far as the old PS4 goes.
We're just gonna have to stay at this for like 4 hours and edit it into like a 30-minute
issue with this game, or something else is up.
That's a little weird. Yeah, let's see if you ever die again, if it pops out an error, that's like, okay.
Yeah, right. Like every time you die, it's just like, okay, that's cool, I guess.
Let's see, that's the twist. You were never human to begin with.
Right. Let's see here. Now, what do we have? There's computer things. Are those two circles in my heads-up display, are those, okay, wait, I see I have a map, kind of. Wondering if this is it? Wait, what's this? Nope, okay. Is there something in here, maybe? Let's try this. I thought I did try to go through this. Yeah, hello?
I was losing you for a second.
God damn it, really? Hello?
Back up in your ass with the resurrection. Is the group harder than an erection that shows no affection? They want to ban us on Capitol Hill, cause it's die, motherfuckers, die, motherfuckers.
All along it was a ghetto, nothing but the ghetto. Taking short steps, 1 foot at a time, and kept my head low and never let go. Cause if I let go, then I'd be spineless. I'm going insane.
Up in my mind, yes. is out of control and touch on subjects motherfuckers read about. I touch on the shit that they be leaving out. I seen this motherfuckers not smoking. I seen this, I bet you motherfuckers will too. Because it's time, motherfucker die, motherfucker still fool. Die, motherfucker die, motherfucker still fool. Die, motherfucker die, motherfucker still. Die, motherfucker die, motherfucker still fool. Die, motherfucker die, motherfucker still. Die, motherfucker die, motherfucker still fool. Die, motherfucker die, motherfucker
I think it's something in the water, man. It's got to be in the water.
Oh, fuck! Jumps on a killing spree again. With guillotine for men. I walk around.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with cursed.
Cursed, definitely cursed.
No, I think it's just the poor internet connection here at the lake.
Yeah, are you doing? You on wireless right now?
Yeah, I am on Wi-Fi.
Personal
Okay.
log. Systems specialist. McDonough. Andrew.
But yeah, so where were we as far as E3?
2037.
We were talking
Talking
about
about-
Mana.
Yeah, talking about Square.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dragon Quest Builders, if that makes you randy at all.
No,
doesn't
that's
do
not really
anything
my
for me.
jam. I love me some Dragon
neither.
Quest, but I've never been really big into the Minecraft style of games.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And then I know with Nintendo's thing, they had the Dragon Quest Dungeons. Oh no, actually, that's Minecraft Dungeons. That's completely different. Never mind.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Another thing that made me really pumped was the fact that they
Father of the Year.
are giving FF8 a kind of a light remaster.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was talking with a friend about that today. She was saying she saw an article that was, it's not about the music or about any of this, but it was something like how the game was made, or
Right.
like the code of it or something. That it was just they lost a lot of it, or it was just really hard to transfer to different, to basically update it.
Really?
So I'm gonna have to look into that because
that would
everything
explain
I've
why
read
the PC port that they currently have is so bad.
is garbage.
Oh, it's
and the music.
horrible.
And everything is just, it seems like it's just kind of scrapped
It's-
together. That it's just
I'm glad I got it on a Steam sale and I'm not out that much money because it's borderline unplayable.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I heard the music was just kind of unforgivable. That
Yeah.
they're just like these low quality
the low quality
MIDI.
midis, yeah.
Oh, MIDI. Oh my god. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It is brutal.
But so I'm looking to that because everything I've read has just been speculation. No one's
Yeah.
like 100% sure, like why it hasn't been. Because the last release it had was PS3, and that was like a straight up, here's the PS1 game, Final
Right.
Fantasy VIII. Never a
So that's locked.
never got the
How do I
treatment
unlock it?
that 7, 9, or any of these other games have been getting with the speed boot, with
Correct.
the speed things and the what do you call it, limit breaks and
I think I'm
just like
about
helpful boosts.
Die again? Question mark.
Where's your oxygen?
It's that bottom right bar.
Okay. How do you get more oxygen?
How do I unlock this damn door? Oh, maybe I go up here. Oh boy, we're going back out into space.
Mhm.
I don't like this. I don't like this. Max.
Yeah. Like even one of these paint flecks should, at a certain point,
Hey,
if it's
oxygen.
going really fast, kill you. Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
know, right?
oxygen. Wah, wah.
Okay, what do we got here? Oh god, Max, I'm freaking out.
Stop moving.
I couldn't do this in VR. It would feel too real.
Yeah, I don't think
It's
I
a
could
very
either.
beautiful game.
I feel like I would get a little freaked out, like I'm actually in space. I mean, I get freaked out still driving downtown. When you're downtown, I feel like my car is just gonna
Giggity.
fall up. The gravity is just gonna nothing's gonna make sense. Gravity's gonna stop, and I'm gonna just fall into the vacuum of space. And I don't know. That's what tall buildings do to me when I'm driving around. So
Oh really? Oh god.
this game would be hard. Oh, you missed it. Oh wow.
Yeah, I did.
Your oxygen drains so quickly.
It
What
really
the hell?
does. Okay, we're gonna try this again.
I guess when you're moving and stuff.
Okay, slow down. Slow down. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. Don't swat at it.
Get away.
Wait, I don't need you. This is
the
Major
best way to
Tom
die.
to ground control. I'm stepping through the dark. And I'm floating in the most peculiar way. You know what that song was about, right?
No, I don't.
Major Tom commits suicide by cutting himself off in space.
Oh, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That
it was
a
just the
Bowie
era
classic.
that it was about drugs, because everything was about drugs.
Yeah, I'm sure
but-
there was a drug metaphor in there too, but that was the gist of the story, the narrative that Bowie crafted in the song.
Okay.
Ground control to Major Tom. Okay, anyways, so yeah, FF8.
Well, you're right about following the green, basically.
Yes, pretty much. That's my like one visual cue. So FF8 really pumped about that. Mana really pumped
that's
about
great.
that. Let's finally bring this conversation to where it was always destined to go, which is the 7 remake.
Yeah.
What were your reactions to the gameplay that they showed of it?
Well, the gameplay, I'm just liking.
Yeah,
I'm
me
liking
too.
it a lot. Basically, I feel like if we go back on our conversations, and it's just like, oh, I hope they have this. I hope you can actually switch characters, because you know how 15 you couldn't at first, and when they did implement it, it was nice.
It was pretty.
but,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
kind of.
it's an
not
afterthought.
Really, yeah, right. Not really.
And there's a loading.
Who's not
and
gonna
so it's
use
just
not
like,
this all the
that'd be
time?
so great. Yeah, for real. It's like, it'd be so great if it was like seamless, just like it seems to be in these faux gameplay, and it is. And it's
Right.
like, yes, that's awesome. And I hope they're able to, like, you know, the action of like FF15 is great, and this is obviously like fast-paced action, but if they were able to like implement menus or something and make it better than
I
Kingdom
am
Hearts.
loving the hybrid menu / action.
Yes, so
style.
am I, dude.
Yeah.
That tactical menu, because, you know, FF15, because they're saying, oh, you can choose how you want to play, which is true in this game, but I feel like that it is like they're keeping that promise.
Right.
Where FF15 is like, choose how you want to play. It's like, okay, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Do you want to do complete action game, or do you want it to be weight system? Which was really, the weight system was so clunky.
Yeah,
where it's like,
I
if you
never
stop
used the weight
moving,
system.
Neither
Yeah.
I tried it, and I was like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, it was not
but
good.
in 7, the remake, it seems like that it's beautifully implemented, where it's just like you hit a button to use
this is
ATB, and that is cool, and it slows down
totally
time,
seamless, right?
and and then the menus very much seem like they're gonna mirror just the old game.
Yeah,
like
pretty
you do
much.
these slashes and stuff, and now here's your old menu.
I'm a
And I
little
love
curious to
that.
see the new ways that materia is implemented, because I mean, like, maybe the yellow ones give you additional like kind of combat command options. I mean, there's very clearly magic, which is cool.
Yeah, cool.
It seems like the limit breaks are now just kind of your rewards for building up your ATB to 2 gauges.
Yeah, that I see that, where
So
the
I'm
cross
wondering if there's
slash,
like
the braver.
yeah, I'm kind of wondering if there's like full-on limit breaks, or I mean, I'm not so married to them that it has to be that way necessarily, but
Me either.
I'm
me
curious
either.
as to how that works. So I'm also
And
wondering,
it does
like,
seem like, yeah, you build up to these big attacks, and you need to do these big attacks, and that's
If,
how you stagger them, or that's how you take advantage of a stagger.
The only
yeah.
thing I'm a little bit concerned about with the system, and you know, granted, I haven't played it, I have to see more of it. I'm wondering if if you can only cast magic when you have a 1 or 2 ATB bars in reserved, I'm wondering how that will affect healing. Because, like, I wonder if, like, you know, I take massive damage, and it's like, oh, I only have, like, half an ATB bar, so I can't heal.
I'm wondering about that too, because it seems like using an item, and they even did it right there in the demo, like fighting the boss.
Right.
That definitely uses ATB, so which makes sense.
Right.
You don't want to be able to spam stuff like that, but if you can't incorporate magic like into your slash combos,
Right.
you know, yeah, and I don't think you can. I think that's probably tied to ATB as well.
And I'm
so
kind
they
of,
are making.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering too, like, you know, if Eris is kind of your primary healer, like, not only does she have the best magic stat for healing, but also her limit breaks are all healing related.
Healing, yeah.
What happens when you lose her? Like, are you just down like a major facet of your combat team, or maybe there's like going to be new other alternative ways that characters can heal now too.
Yeah, or if there's alternative ways to get ATB, because with Eris, most of the time I wouldn't even attack. So it's like Cloud is attacking. Oh, and I also love that. It seems like, I don't know if it's because, you know, the original FF7, you at a certain point, you just choose whatever party you want.
Yeah, right.
I wonder if, especially in the beginning of the game, it's going to be more, here's your people, you really have to use them all to your advantage. Because in that first reactor, there's definitely like those turrets and stuff, and Cloud isn't able to attack them.
Yeah, right, where Barrett really pulls his own.
Yeah, it's like you have to use your ranged
boss
characters,
fight.
which I like.
Oh my gosh, that boss fight was way more involved than...
Yes, and I can see if they're treating everything that way, that's how they're gonna, and adding new story or something, that's how they're gonna make Midgar one disc or one game, basically, is if that little boss fight is that whole thing, which I'm okay with that. Like it kind of makes sense that, hey, here's this huge thing that's protecting this reactor. It's gonna be this big involved fight where there's environmental damage, which I also love. I thought that was awesome. I'm okay with that. Now, I know we'll get to it soon as far as kind of our issues, and I think kind of having...
Yeah, so that actually kind of brings me to my first real issue, too, is that I'm wondering, like, that's the first boss, and, they're going for spectacle, clearly. But, if they're going to try to make every boss fight, like, that FF7 had, like, 50 boss fights.
Yeah.
Like, are they all going to be that involved, or... I mean, I just don't see how that's technically possible.
I mean, if they truly are, and they're gonna make this just like a super long game where it's kind of like an epic, okay, I'm okay with that. I just don't see them following through with that.
Me neither. And
I
which
see
brings
them
us to
picking
issue
and
number
choosing.
2, which is a much bigger issue.
Midgar.
Yeah, Midgar.
I mean, that's all we've seen for 5 years, isn't it? Like,
and that's all that
Midgar,
they're
Midgar.
demoing. So, the director's comment was that there's enough content in this game to fill 2 Blu-ray discs. But then the comment that everyone seems to be ignoring is that he says, we started developing this and then we realized that the game's opening chapter in Midgar could be its own game. Which brought me right back to my sense of dread, that this really is just going to be like FF7, like either only the Midgar parts or like the entire story boiled down to be in Midgar.
Yeah, where it always brings you back to Midgar, even if it's like, oh, there's stuff happening outside. Yeah, like you said, it's like, okay, it can fit on 2 Blu-ray discs. He did say something, I'm gonna have to go back and look, but I think he said something like either the first game or the first disc. He said something, one of those 2 things.
Yeah, and
we're gonna be focusing on Midgar.
Right. So I'm wondering if it's like 2 discs and we're only getting 1 disc now, because that would kind of corroborate that Reddit post or that Reddit leak from a month ago.
That hopeful leak that we're like, oh, I hope this leak is true.
Yeah, but from what I saw, I'm kind of thinking it wasn't legit now.
And because he's talking about a world map and everything, and it's like, if that's true,
then they're certainly being
how far along?
You would think if that were the case, they would really want to show that off right now, especially since they're saying it's going to be released next March.
Yeah,
he did say we have a lot more to show you, which is fair, but they, honestly, everything they've shown us so far is from the first, 3 hours of the original
first 2
game.
or 3 hours of the game, literally, yeah. And even if you're almost, March 2020, you're going to have the first game, and again, whether that be 1 disc or 2 disc, I'm assuming 1 disc, and that what they're saying is the whole game that they plan on releasing is 2 discs, and we're getting 1 of those discs in March. That's what I'm assuming.
Right. So if I'm being really hopeful, my ideal scenario would be corroborating what the Reddit.
You almost ran out.
I did. And having this be 2 2-disc games. Part 1, Disc 1, Midgar. Part 1, Disc 2, up through Eris's death. And then, maybe a year or 2 later, we get Part 2, which is also 2 discs that goes through, the summoning of Meteor, and then Disc 2 would be through the end of the game.
Yeah.
But then, again, I really don't know what to expect anymore.
I don't think that.
They're either being... Yeah, I don't think that either, but that's my best-case scenario. Me too. I think they're being purposely dodgy, because it's still, at the end of the day, it's still Nomura. And I think what they have is extremely beautiful and extremely fun-looking, but I think we've seen what they have.
I'm thinking, and again, it's like if this whole thing is just Midgar, the first part of the game that we're getting, they're not even showing us like the end of Midgar or anything like that. They did show the Shinra building, that's true.
Yeah.
But not too much more than that. So that kind of worries me. Like, are they gonna hit March 3rd? I kind of doubt it, but I think it is coming next year for sure. At least this first part.
I think next year what we're going to get is Final Fantasy VII through the assassination of President Shinra.
Yeah,
I think
me
that's
too.
it. I think that's what we're getting.
And I think that's kind of like where they're going to end is, so that it feels like almost like a complete game. It's like, I guess you could end it there, but I don't think there's any spot,
or
unless
even
they
more
add
like
some
a
totally new
prologue
story
for
or something.
the other, for the rest of it. I don't know.
Can it really feel like its own story where it's like, oh my god, or is it just going to feel like Final Fantasy 13-2 or something like that, where it's like, holy crap, this absolutely has the sequel coming and it's totally unresolved.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was a little too ambitious there.
Like, yeah, it's going to be unresolved.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, so another one of my biggest worries about this game is that we are going to next year, and mind you, they're even releasing a special edition of this with Cloud on the Bike. So this is what makes me really freak out about this, is that one of two things is going to happen. We're going to get Final Fantasy VII through, the Shinra building, and that's going to be, a $60 special edition game. And then either they're going to realize that, hey, there's no way we could ever possibly do this whole game, and so that they're just going to leave it at that, like you said, like have it just be kind of like a reimagining of the Midgard chapter, or we're going to be waiting like 2 or 3 years between, possibly as many as 4 different chapters of this game.
And that's what I'm wondering, because we're already nearing the end of like the PlayStation 4's lifespan.
Yeah, so
even
yeah,
if it's just
I
two
think,
games, like, what is it going to be, another 2 years, another year? Like,
so
even
keep your
then, that's like,
PS4
wow.
plugged in. I mean, granted,
Yeah,
the PS5
seriously.
we know already is going to be backwards
We'll
compatible.
play PS4 games, thank
which is
goodness,
cool.
so I get that. But and you're right, they're being dodgy, so we don't know.
They are
and,
being
and maybe it's
extremely
because
dodgy.
they still don't know. Like, are we going to follow through with this all the way? Are we going to have to cut this second game short? Because holy crap, this project is becoming, it's getting away from us with how big it is.
Yeah, so I think they're either going to leave us hanging, or they're or given like the like massive scope of what they've shown for the first like 3 hours of the proper game, they're going to, like I said, either leave us hanging or cut it way short. And be like, they get out of Midgar, and here's Sephiroth, fight him.
Yeah, seriously, that's what I'm really worried about. And that is truly worst case scenario. If I'm being realistic, I think it's going to be like 2 games. It's just Midgar, they're going to expand quite a bit. And then the rest of the game, they're going to compress quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking is actually going to happen.
Where like 75% of the total narrative is spent in Midgar, and then kind of like Xenogears, where in the second disc you just sort of flash forward, and they just kind of take you on, okay, so then we were in this part of the world, and this happened. And then a few weeks later we were in Cosmo Canyon, and this happened. And then a couple weeks later we were in Nibelheim, and this happened. I think that's...
And this is
I really think that's how they're going to have to structure
something
it.
like that. Yeah, they're going to have to compress. If this is truly going to be 2 games and 2 chapters, which I think is what they're doing, because that would just be a crazy long time, and you would think they would show us teases of future stuff if they were going to do like 4 or 5 chapters and they were already working on it. Show us a tease. That would put people at ease, but they're not doing that because they kind of can't.
Because they don't
really have it. They don't have it. So I think it's going to be the 2 games, 1 disc each.
Right.
As much as I would love the halfway point being Eris, which would totally make sense, and I'd be totally down for that. Right. Don't think it's happening that way. But what I was... Oh, go ahead.
Well, so going sidetracking on that for a second, the comment that he made was we're going to have enough content in this game to fill 2 Blu-ray discs. Does he mean Midgar itself, like what we've seen so far, is going to be 2 Blu-ray discs, or does the whole game, like Midgar to Calm to Nibelheim to the crater to Meteor, is that all going to be 2 Blu-rays? Like, I don't quite know what he was getting at when he said that.
And I understood
and again,
it one way.
I think they're being purposefully ambiguous.
Exactly. I understood it one way, but I don't think they were being a bit ambiguous. And how I understood it was this whole game, this whole project that we have lined up could fit 2 Blu-ray discs, and
which I hope
Midgar's
is
gonna
what
be
he
one
meant.
of those. Yeah.
I hope
Now,
that's what he meant.
But yeah, it's you're right. It could be something like Midgar is going to fit 2 Blu-ray discs, and it's like, if that's the case and you're going to do that much, then are you really going to ever get outside of Midgar? I don't see that happening. If you're doing 2 games dedicated to Midgar, then I just see you basically doing the whole game in Midgar.
Yeah.
What I was talking about with like my cousins, and then talking with a few people about my fear, it's like, okay, they're focusing on Midgar, they're expanding Midgar, which is fine. You know, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. It's just that when I think about the theme of this game and the narrative, Midgar was about, what, 1/6, maybe 1/7 of the game, something like that. It took like 8 hours to get out, and then you returned for a little bit near the end of the game. But I think as the player, it was really... Are you upgrading your suit? It's like doing some Dead Space stuff here. But I think it was important for the player to get outside of the city and to see the world. And that was a big moment in the game. Like, the music swelled and it was this whole huge thing going to Calm. But as the player, it's like, oh, here's this whole world outside of this big city I spent so much time in. And this, you know, while it's a metropolis, it's just kind of small compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah,
and
that's
there's
kind of
so
what
many
I
other
was thinking
things
too.
going on.
You know, that's kind of my... There's a lot of fan service in this thing, which part of it I'm all about. But then the other part is like, you know... To me, really, like, Midgar was kind of the least interesting part of the game. Like, everything was just set up, and, you know, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was a unique setting.
I liked it.
The parts of FF7 that I really enjoyed came in, like, kind of that mid-game stuff where you really were exploring the world and
I
finding
agree
out
with
about
that.
the mythology of the universe that they created.
I liked Midgar, but I think what was really cool about Midgar is comparing it to the rest of the game, it was such a contrast.
Yeah.
That here's this beautiful world, and here's how the world actually works, you know, going to places like Cosmo Canyon and figuring out about the live stream and everything.
Yeah.
And here's where you started out, and it was so different. By the way, that's killing the planet. And can you see why now? You know, that whole thing. I love that contrast.
And that kind of made, like, the specter of Sephiroth's presence throughout the game that much more dramatic.
Yes.
And now they've definitely shown that you're going to see him at least a little bit in Midgar.
Yeah, as a hallucination, which is like, okay, I can get
that's
behind
alright.
that.
But
Because Cloud was always hallucinating, but I don't. If it's like focusing so much on Sephiroth from the beginning, you know, that is, you know, fan service for the sake of fan service a little bit. Yeah, but you kind of hit the nail on the head with that, making Sephiroth, like the specter of Sephiroth, a little more, you know, scary, a little more like, as the player, you know, when this meteor is happening, I think just being connected to the planet as a whole, it makes the whole thing a little more dire.
Right.
Well, if it's Midgar, it's like, whatever, we're in Midgar. Like, obviously the meteor is going to kill the whole planet, but it's knowing so much more about how the planet works, how the live stream works, and what's going on. I think that's really important.
Right.
And if you just kind of get that explained to you real quick while you're in Midgar, instead of really seeing the planet for what it is, I think it does a disservice to the game, and I think it throws off the theme of the game, or at least what I understood to be the theme, you know? Again, I'm a fan. They're going to deliver this game. I'm going to like it. I'm going to buy it, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure. I
worry.
think they're writing a check they can't cash.
Yeah.
And again, I hate to be a pessimist because I'm really excited for what they showed, but I think what they have on their hands in its current form is an extremely beautiful, unfinished product. And I think that's what's coming to us in March 2020. I'm going to die again. Shit. Was I supposed to go this way? Alright, well, we're dead.
Second, we're gonna see if, okay.
Oh boy, yep, there we go. Alright, Max, this is gonna conclude this episode, but we are going to continue our talk about E3 next time on Play the Hits, and hopefully, we're not gonna be so cursed.
Funny? Yeah.